Hello! Today is Thursday, and at Washington Carnegie Public Library, that means story time. I'm glad you could join us today. Guess what we're going to do before we do any reading? What do? We sing our story time song. So here we go. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story and you really want to show it, if you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, find a seat. If you're ready for a story, find a seat. If you're ready for a story and you really want to show it, if you're ready for a story, find a seat. Our story today is called Brave Enough for Two by Jonathan D Voss. And we're also going to read a poem. And if you remember, we've been reading poems from when we were very young by AA Milne. Well, today we're going to read a poem from his book that's called Now We Are Six. I wonder if there's some of you who are 6 who are listening. So this is about Christopher Robin being 6. And we're going to read the poem Binker.
Binker. Binker.
Binker, what I call him, is a secret of my own. And Binker is the reason why I never feel alone. Playing in the nursery, sitting on the stair. Whatever I am busy at, Binker will be there. Oh, Daddy, he is clever. He's a clever sort of man. And Mummy is the best since the world began. And Nanny is Nanny, and I call her Nan. But they can't see Binker. Binker's always talking 'cause I'm teaching him to speak. He sometimes likes to do it in a funny sort of squeak, and he sometimes likes to do it in a hootling sort of roar, and I have to do it for him 'cause his throat is rather sore. Oh, Daddy, he is clever. He's a clever sort of man, and Mummy knows all that anybody can. And Nanny is Nanny, and I call her Nan, but they don't know Binker. Binker's brave as lions when we're running in the park. Binker's brave as tigers when we're lying in the dark. Binker's brave as elephants. He never cries, except like other people when the soap gets in his eyes. Oh, Daddy, he is Daddy. He's a daddy sort of man. And Mummy is as Mummy as anybody can. And Nanny is Nanny, and I call her Nan. But they're not like Binker. Binker isn't greedy, but he does like things to eat. So I have to say to people when they're giving me a sweet, "Oh, Binker wants a chocolate, so could you give me 2?" And then I eat it for him because his teeth are rather new. Well, I'm very fond of Daddy, but he hasn't time to play. And I'm very fond of Mummy, but she sometimes goes away. And I'm often cross with Nanny when she wants to brush my hair. But Binker's always Binker and is certain to be there. I think Binker might be imaginary. What do you think? So that poem was Binker by AA Milne from Now We Are Six. We have this book at the library, so you can always come and check it out here if you want to. Our story today is called Brave Enough for Two, and it's by Jonathan D Voss. It's got a beautiful flyleaf. Isn't that pretty? Brave Enough for Two. Hoot was Olive's very best friend in the whole wide world. But as you know, best friends don't always like the same things. Take, for example, adventures. Olive preferred the kind found in books. Hoot, on the other hand, well, he preferred something a little different. One day, Hoot said, "I've made something special for you, but it could be a small bit scary and a slightly bigger bit adventurous. You know I don't like adventures, said Olive. I'm not brave like you. Don't worry, said Hoot. I will be brave enough for both of us. It's very nice, said Olive. Does it go high? Can you see what it is? It's a basket with balloons on it. A little, said Hoot, climbing into the basket, but not too high. Olive followed after. It's a very new book. Up they rose over rooftops and treetops till the ground looked like a giant patchwork quilt passing beneath them. Isn't that beautiful? What do you think? Asked Hoot. I think this is what it's like to be a cloud, said Olive, but we've gone way more than a little high. Just then, a drop of water landed on her nose. The clouds darkened, and thunder cracked with a flash of light. Giant drops poured from the sky. The wind swirled, the basket rocked. What if the wind blows us far away and we get lost? Cried Olive. Hoot squeezed her hand. We can never be lost, he said, so long as I'm here and you're here, you're there, and here and there aren't very far apart. All of a sudden, the sun poked through the clouds. The wind calmed. Look, said Hoot. A rainbow. Olive smiled. Hoot untied the balloons one by one. Lower and lower the basket dropped till it scraped the ground and toppled over. The pair rolled out, head over bottom, into a patch of grass. We made it, said Olive in a surprised sort of way. What should we do now? Of course we made it, said Hoot. And now I have another idea. Hoot pushed the basket into a nearby river. I've never been in a boat before, said Olive. Then it will be the first time for both of us, said Hoot. Will it go fast? Asked Olive. Maybe just a little, said Hoot, tying a flag to their new ship's mast. See the flag? The boat bobbed and spun like a carnival ride. What do you think? Asked Hoot. I think we're going faster than just a little, said Olive. Down the river they sped till it became a bubbling cauldron of rocks and waves. We're going way too fast, cried Olive. Hoot paddled with all his might. Don't be afraid, he said. I'll keep you safe. And he did. But on the shore, Hoot stood silent. What's the matter? Asked Olive. Hoot picked up a piece of his stuffing. I'm not feeling all that well. Olive paused, but only for a moment. Then she said, Don't worry, Hoot. I'll lead the way home. I will be brave enough for both of us. Hoot followed her every step. It will be dark soon, he said. If it gets dark, we might get lost. Hoot, said Olive in a kind way. So long as I'm here and you're there and here and there aren't very far apart, we can never be lost. Just as the sun began to set, a familiar sight appeared. Home, said Olive and Hoot together. That night, Hoot got a patch. For bravery, said Olive. And tomorrow, how about I choose the adventure? Hoot smiled. I was afraid today, he said, when my stuffing came out. But you were brave, and you kept me safe. Don't ever be afraid, Olive whispered. I'll always keep you safe. And she did. And that is the end of Brave Enough for Two. What I liked about that story is that Olive liked to have the adventures that she read about in books, and Hoot liked to have real adventures. And I think it's fun to have both. Maybe today you can find an adventure to have, maybe an adventure in the house or out of doors, out in your yard or somewhere fun, but go and have an adventure today, because adventures are important. They keep you brave. Thank you for joining us today for story time, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.